Hello everyone, it's Crochet Nana, aka Michelle, and I have been tagged by Madonna Ballard, our queen, for the 10 non-yarny things about myself. So I went back and I watched her video from like a year ago just to give me an idea of what to answer. So, because I don't do a whole lot other than work and crochet, so it helped. So thank you, Madonna, and I learned a lot about you. That was really cool. All right, so we'll start with number 10, animals. I have had or have. Well, when I first moved to this apartment 2.5 years ago, I had a cat that was called Fat Cat. She was 18 years old. Sadly, a year after I lived here, she passed. And a work friend texted me and says, "Hey, I have this stray that has no claws, front or back, and apparently the collar was too tight around his neck, and there's like an indentation." She was like, "He's been to 3 different homes, and no one will keep him because he bites when he's scared because he has no claws." So I'm like, "Well, I don't have any other kids here other than Olivia." So at first, the cat went to my son's house, my youngest son, Jonathan. And because he lived by himself, and I'm like, okay, I don't want this cat around Olivia. If he bites, that's not cool. Well, he ended up losing the apartment and had to move in with my older son. And he's like, "Mom, can you take the cat?" I'm like, I was really leery about it, only because he bites. And so I took him in. I'm like, okay. He does really good with Olivia. Um, if he's scared of her, he just runs away from her. He doesn't try to bite her. He's only bit me one time, and it was an accident because I was crocheting, and he went to try to bite the yarn, and he bit my hand. So I kind of don't count that. So, but he's been good ever since. So that's the animals. I used to have, when I lived with the husband, um, I am separated. We're not legally divorced. We've been separated since 2007. We had a blue and gold macaw. Um, with all the cleanup, I'm glad he took her because it's a pain in the you know what. So those are the animals. Kids. I have 2 boys of my own. Timothy Michael, who is 29. That's Olivia's dad. And then Jonathan Stephen, who is my youngest, who is 27. Yeah. How their names came about is kind of cool. My ex-husband was adopted, and he found out his real first name. So Timothy Michael is actually both his first names. Timothy is his adopted name, and then Michael was his original first name. So that's how we came up with that. Jonathan Stephen, I wanted a girl and had no clue what to name him. So I have 2 stepdaughters from my husband, Connie and Chrissy, and I told them all to write names, in a hat, and then I'd let Timmy pick the names out of the hat, and the order that they came out was going to be his name. So that's how Jonathan Stephen came about. Okay, so number 8, grandkids. I have 5. Only 1 is biologically mine. The other 4 are not, but they count as my grandchildren. We have Luke, who was born in 1998, and I don't feel like doing math, so I'm not going to try to figure it out, but I'm thinking 22, 23. And then Tegan and Amesley, which is my son's girlfriend, her daughters that are twins. They're not identical, but they're adorable. I think they're 11 or maybe 12. They're up there. And then Olivia. Okay, work. Work. Well, let's see. When I first moved out, when I was 17, because my dad was a piece of work. Well, he wasn't a piece of work. He had a really bad drinking problem, and he didn't, my grandma raised me. Well, she ended up having a aneurysm on Easter Sunday, died, blah, blah, blah. And he really just didn't do anything. So I ended up moving out, getting 2 jobs. So I worked at a restaurant and Giant Eagle at that time. After that, I met my what was husband, and then stayed home with the kids, raised the kids, babysat, all that fun stuff. After they were old enough to be home alone, I was a manager at Wendy's and worked at a gas station. Then my stepdaughter told me about a job she got and said, hey, why don't you apply here? I think you'd be good at it. So I went to Signet, which was back then Sterling Jewelers, in 2006, and became a part of the customer care department. I was a phone rep in a call center for 2 years there, then moved up to the clerical portion of that company, and until 2017 was there. In 2017, they decided to sell the credit department to Genesis Financial Solutions, where I am currently now. And I do the same thing I did there at Signet / Sterling Jewelers as I do now. I work what they call ACDV credit disputes, which is the automated, oh gosh, I can't even remember, automated consumer data verification, something like that. Pretty much what it is if you dispute transactions with your creditor, they send a validation letter to the credit bureau, and I view those electronically. So that's pretty much what I do. Lately, they've had me working 10-hour days. We're super behind. So that would be question number 7. Number 6, hobbies other than crochet. I like to walk outside, weather permitting. If it's cold, I'm not going outside. If it's below 60 degrees, I'm not doing it. I do not like cold weather. And I've lived in Ohio my whole life, so you would think I would be used to the cold weather, but I hate it. And I've lived all over Ohio. When I was born in Akron, but we lived in Cincinnati. Then we moved to Cleveland. We moved back to Cincinnati. Then we moved to North Canton, where my son lives. And then we moved to Cuyahoga Falls, where I'm currently at now. And I've been here since. So I've kind of been in, a little bit of everywhere. But my hobbies that are not crochet related or reading anymore, since it's audiobooks, I really just listen to audiobooks while I crochet. I don't really actually physically read a book. I do like to watch Grace and Frankie, Grey's Anatomy, SVU, Special Victims Unit, any Food Network show, Disney Channel. I love kids movies. I know. Grown but adult watching kids movies, but sometimes you just need that mental break where you're not constantly being so serious. You just need that I don't need to think about anything kind of thing. So yeah, that's it. So in number 5, I did places I lived, but I covered that kind of in question 6, so I'm sorry. So we'll move on to 4. Food and diet. I am a pescatarian, which means I don't eat land animals. And it's not out of choice. Um, because I did like my meat. Um, Apparently, whatever they're feeding these animals these days does not agree with me. I'm allergic to a lot of antibiotics, and they were making me severely ill, giving me inflammation and pain. Once I cut that out of my diet, it really helped. So I eat seafood 1 to 2 times a week, and then just vegetables and beans and plant-based food throughout the week. So that's for the food and diet. Let's see. I mean, if we want to jump back up to the kids for a second, we'll start out with me as a kid. I was born 3 months premature in 1969. So I was only a pound and a half. My mom could not take me home until I was 3 months old. And she had 4 miscarriages after me. She had her tubes tied and miraculously at 40 ended up pregnant with my brother. So God's here for a reason to provide us here, because me and my brother really, if you think about it, should not be here. My oldest son, Timmy, Olivia's dad, he was born dead for 5 minutes with his umbilical cord. And there's nothing wrong with him. He's all good. But again, we're here for a reason, I think. And okay, I strayed there. I did a squirrel. All right. So we'll go to number 3. Which was pretty much, yeah, that was my shows and stuff. Okay. The only craft I do is crochet. I tried knitting and my arthritis did not like it. It just, there's too much going on there. So, like Madonna, Greenady can keep the knit. Alright, so number 2, how I found my YouTube people. I was searching for patterns to do and came across Mikey at the Crochet Crowd years ago. I want to say maybe 2008, 17 or 18. Then after that, I found It's Crochet O'Clock with Stephanie. And I'm like, oh, she has lives. That's cool. And then just started going down the rabbit hole and finding all you wonderful people. So that is number 2. Living arrangements, marital status, blah, blah, blah. All right, I've been separated since 2007. I got married in 2000, but I was with their dad from 1992 to 2000, not married. We just had a parting in the way. Some people just can't be by themselves. We'll just leave it at that. And it wasn't me. So I've been by myself since 2007. I have no problems with it. It's actually quite peaceful. But we do get along. I mean, if I ever have a problem and have to call on whatever, he'll come over, fix something, like my car or whatever. So I get along with my stepdaughters, Christine I. And I since COVID, I haven't really seen them. So, but I think that's it. I mean, I really don't do anything else, especially since now with work from home, I don't leave the house, so there's really nothing fun and exciting that I do. I do have a best friend, Cheryl, that I've been friends with since 7th grade. Yeah, 7th grade. And we have various friends that we share together. But that's pretty much it. So other than sitting here crocheting and working and having my kids and grandkids in my life, with COVID, obviously I haven't done anything. So that's that. If you have any further questions, leave a comment. I'll be more than happy if it's not, not too weird and personalized and, whatever. I'll answer it. I don't have any problem with that. I'm pretty much an open book. And so if there's anything else you want to know, just leave a comment. And if it's not too weird or too personal, I'll leave an answer. All right. So bye. Thank you, Madonna, for tagging me in this. This was fun.